Hey everyone, hey, and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, Tom Cree. Today we have a very special kind of one-off discussion, but before we get into that, I just want to say please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, please get in contact on Twitter, that's at battlerapresume, battlerapresume@gmail.com is the email. If you want to get in touch with me, you can also message me and, like the page on Facebook as well if you want to keep up to date with, upload schedules and stuff like that. There is the upload schedule on the YouTube channel itself on the kind of about page, very much like a very battle rap thing to do there. Check that out. We also have what else is there? Yeah, we have the shop. We have Redbubble. We are selling merchandise. We have sold shirts. We have sold other asserted items. And I just want to say thank you individually so much to everyone that has bought. That is crazy to me that people would part money. They'd like the show that much. And that is a great honor and really, really genuinely, hugely thank you to all of you guys. I'm kind of lost for words at the moment and I really appreciate that. So yeah, check out the shop, check out the Twitter at Battle Resume, all that good stuff. So today, we're joined by a good friend of the show, someone who you recognise be on the show previous, and I've said to him off air, like, I enjoy the fact that I'm building this stable of correspondents, people that I like to just have on and chat battle up. And John, you're a great guy to have on. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great, thanks, Tom. Doing great. Thank you very much for having me back on, and congratulations with all the success you've been having with Battle Rap Resume, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, one of the things that I like as well is when people just come to me, just like, oh, let's just talk about this. Like, Deffinition came to me and he was like, he literally said, like, we'll talk about Don't Flop Body Bags out of nothing. I was just like, yeah, okay. We've done the King of the Dot one as well. And, yourself, you came to me with the idea of compliments battles. They're not necessarily something that's to everyone's taste, but I think, it's a fascinating facet of battle rap. The fact that it can allow itself to extend to this parallel dimension where everything is inverted and it still works. And, it's something that demands so much of the competitor as well. You have to be a certain type of person, I think, to do a compliments battle. I think it's very hard. And, for you, John, personally, compliments battles, you're a big fan?
Yeah, I am an absolutely huge fan. Partly because obviously, it's a subversion of the norm, but also because it can draw people into battle rap that aren't normally into that sort of thing, because it's not got that level of antagonism that you're used to. And I always find it, if you want to put on a battle for a friend who's never seen a battle, a compliments battle is quite useful, because it's sort of, there's all the high quality complex rhyming and all the sort of in your face aggression sort of, but it's in a way that's sort of more palatable to the general public.
Yeah, but I mean, outside of the kind of, it's a good introduction to, people who don't know better. You as a seasoned fan, what is it about it?
Oh, bruv, I love them. Partly because it makes people write and think about things in a completely different way. And this is sort of some of the things I actually really want to talk about is, it's a very, very sort of underused format, and in many ways it's sort of still in its mum joke infancy, so to speak. That when written battles first really got going, and there was so many, it was just like very nasty invective about people's mums and girlfriends. You know what I mean? There was a lot of stuff like that, and the sort of how that's reflected in compliments battles is the constant gaying it up, so to speak. Yeah. And I feel it's got such a lot more room to grow and develop and just become something of unique, but it's got room to develop.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting you talk as well about that element, the gaying element, which is something that you notice when you watch the compliments battles, isn't it? You almost will it not to happen at times because it's so common, but it's just a crutch, maybe.
Oh, it's completely a crutch. And as I say, it's like, for example, one thing that I've really noticed about most compliments battles is that battlers don't tend to approach it in the same way that they necessarily would a regular battle. And I think that perhaps more people should do in the future. Like research has become a major part of normal battles. And yet it's a completely untapped area when it comes to compliments battles. People just battlers just tend to sort of write compliments, randomly almost, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he's a big guy, or I'll just say I really find him attractive, or whatever, rather than doing research into someone, finding something good that they've done and then building that up. Like there was a freestyle, there was a Shuffle T versus Yunnan freestyle compliments battle, but I think that there's more potential for that as well.
Yeah, I was actually in the background of that battle.
I saw it today.
I just stumbled upon it, as you can see. Yeah, and that is a really funny battle. I mean, that does get, explicitly, I want to finger your ass kind of stuff at the end. But I mean, it's a unanimous shuffle, so it's done in a delightful way. And I have to be honest, John, when you first came to me and you're like, oh, let's do a sort of, satire, compliments battle sort of thing. In the back of my mind, I was kind of like, oh, is there that much range for it? But then you recommended some battles, and I myself started to do some research. And, I utterly agree with your thesis, really. I do think that this does force writers into a certain corner, makes them use a different part of their, pen or whatever, makes them, and there's such a difference. There are so many different types, just as there are many types of battles that, we're going to go through 2-on-2 compliments battles, freestyle compliments battles with flips, you know what I mean? Like, they're international. The one that I guess I want to talk about first that I just watched the other day and really, really enjoyed, Greely versus Barry Bonza.
Let's be best mates for ifs. I mean, this cunt is so smooth, I'm pretty sure he's Brazilian. He's like a minge in a fridge. Cool cunt to chill with. You're a perfect vagina. Quite possibly the best cunt in the world. I mean, I close my eyes and imagine this cunt every time I'm fucking my girl.
Oh mate, Greely versus Barry Bonza to me is like it's a weird thing. It's like 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And the first rounds are like much longer, but it's to be honest, it's like my top 2 compliments battles of all time, and it's criminally underviewed.
It's so good. It's really good.
It's incredible. Yeah. It really is. You know what I mean? Like that. I think people should, like, if you listen to this, stop what you're doing right now, go and watch Greely versus Barry Bonza, and then come back, because it will make you see compliments battles in a completely different light. They really go at each other properly, but complimenting each other, and it's just the writing. There's no flippancy with it. It's like incredible rhyming, like really good rapping as well, and in Greely's first round, he just does this amazing scheme. What's the one line from it? Like, you're always dropping raps like an Indian man who's forgetting his turban, and it's like this scheme that goes on for like a whole minute, and it's just absolutely incredible. And it's I just can't rate it highly enough.
Yeah. It's terrific. And Greely was someone that I was familiar with through Yunnan, and kind of he's one of the Australian guys you kind of just name to pretend that you know more depth of the scene than Dundee. But Barry Bonza, someone that I didn't know. I love this guy, man. His first is excellent. Really, really good.
Yeah, he's actually he's a Kiwi. He's from New Zealand, which is perhaps why he's not sort of more well known in sort of Australian circles. You know what I mean? But I can't say enough good things about this battle. It's like, for example, when Greely starts his first round, he does 2 flips, and I've not encountered that in any other compliments battle.
No.
It's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, it's a standard thing. Why aren't people engaging in this way in exactly the same way they should be as a normal battle? They would do it for a normal battle. And it's because this is the thing. Most compliments battle tend to be 1 round, and this is a 2-round battle. And so, I think if you have a single round battle, it sort of removes that natural back and forth. That is what makes a battle. Do you know what I mean? Because it's strike and counter strike. That is the whole thing about battle rap for me. Is if your opponent comes really hard in his first round, and after your first, you can always come back, and giving room to have flips and for there to be that real adversarial thing, like that you're competing for the same essence, that you want to prove yourself the best writer and the best rapper. Have 3 shorter rounds rather than 1 long one. That's the way I dig it anyway. But yeah, Greely versus Barry Bonza. Go out there and listen to it and watch it, people. It's criminally underviewed. It's like 4,000 views, and it's right up there with Shufflo versus Big Lefty for me.
And Greely slips into a little bit of kind of bad bars territory as well. Another subculture of battling with the ain't talking about Mr. Thorpe winning the swimming title when I say you're a champ, Ian.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've noticed about when I was watching that back today. I was like, it's another sort of trope that people get locked into when they do a compliments battle, is they tend just to do sort of regular rhyming to set up a compliment, rather than sort of engaging in wordplay or like doing back, like, because he does a whole big backwards, like, reverse it, slow it down, daylight thing. Again, Shufflo, because they're so sort of prescient and like on the ball all the time, and expanding the genre, they did, but no one else has sort of engaged in that. People sort of get locked into a much more simpler approach, and I think keep pushing it, lads, keep pushing, going as far as you can.
Yeah, there was some stuff in here that I hadn't seen before that did expand the genre. I think the first thing was just the intro interviews where Barry's complimenting Greely, and then Greely saying, like, I didn't want to do this, so I need to get my swear words out now, and he starts to insult him just before we go into the round. And then I loved Barry in the second, where he's saying to Greely that he's personally pissed off because of what an old opponent had said to Greely, and it was wrong, and it just still vexed him, which I thought was just very, very nice, like a nice compliment angle.
Well, definitely, and there's a bit when he says to him, like, that you're just you're much better, that you're so much nicer in person than I thought that you were online, that sort of thing, and it's they take some really fresh angles, really good approach, and the way that Barry Bonza manages to take that, I know you didn't want me to say any gay shit, and then he sort of teases him with some sort of some wordplay. Oh no, I've done it again. No, I've done it again. And it's very clever, because obviously Greely doesn't look like he can't fight, so and so like he's just, Bonza's just sort of teasing him with that, like, I know I promised you I wouldn't do any gay stuff because you're going to punch me in the head, because if I do, like, it's just it's the more playful element of compliments battles that I think it just opens up a whole new world of writing,
No, it's absolutely terrific, and I think it's at like 4,000 views, which is ridiculous. But I mean, we got to be grateful it exists. At the end of the day, we shouldn't despair of these views. This is a fantastic document, and I'm sure hopefully more people watch it after this. Another battle that you recommended. This is a more recent battle. To my shame, I like to try and watch pretty much everything Don't Flop uploaded, but for some reason, I didn't follow I really liked the Poetry Radio 1 kind of event they did. That kind of one extra thing, and this being Bru C versus Paul Cree. Paul Cree, I didn't know, he really impressed me. Bru C, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of, but he kills this.
Man's an intellectual poet. He uses vision to be lyrical. He doesn't have many shows or fans, but that just shows me, fam, you're an independent individual. He could make in-depth viral videos using wisdom that's invincible, but instead he makes videos in his kitchen sipping tea talking about his Adam's apple. Bro, that's both different and original.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's like, I think, it coming at it from, like, because Paul Cree is a poet, and it, again, it wasn't just coming at it with a fresh mind, and like sort of not sort of trapped in any sort of I've got to do that, or that's the cliches I've got to follow. He does some very, very, very fresh stuff with like complimenting Bru C. Again, the rhyming is quite basic because he's a poet, but you get the much more complicated side, with Bru C. And what I really like in compliments battles is when battlers genuinely get in their opponent's faces and tell them that they, deliver their compliments intensely. Because I don't think that you need to mitigate your style or your aggression just because it's a compliments battle. And often people do. Do you know what I mean? There's often like a standoffishness, perhaps. The people who are really, really good at it, don't disqualify that, because there's points when Bru C really gets in his face and I'll go around, I'll go in your parents' house and I'll decorate their garden with a feature, give your sister a bag of sweets, and let your brother, I'll buy you some some feeler, and let him smash me on FIFA and all the rest of it, and it's just like right in his face, and it's just like, yes, exactly, because this is the thing, it's all about proving that you're the best. And if that's how you deliver your shit, it it shouldn't be mitigated because you're complimenting someone. Mm-hmm. You know, it should almost be emphasized for that. You know, but yeah, I was there in the room, and as I say, like half, because it was a poets versus rappers thing. More than half of the crowd were not regular battle fans.
Yeah.
And they, you know, I think there's something about, you know, they responded more like a battle crowd to this one than they did to the other battles. Mm-hmm. Because like a non-battle fan, they hear an insult and they'll be like, ooh. Whereas a battle fan is listening for a more nuanced things, you know what I mean? The complexity of rhyming, the subtlety of reference, etc., etc. But in this one, people were the crowd responded much in the same way that a 100% battle fan crowd would have, and I thought that, you know, again, it was one of these things that tripped off in my mind, like that we should do this episode. You know, I'd suggest this to you because it is a gateway into battles for most people, because you know the response is sort of innate, and you're listening. You know, again, you're listening for the same things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I hope that that you know that Paul does a normal battle, because like he impressed me so much, even though his writing was you know slightly more like one syllable end of rhymes, but yeah, it was very entertaining.
Yeah, there's no reason why, you know, he shouldn't be sharing some of the spotlight with Shonda Rhimes. You know, he was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One battle I'd like to. I know we didn't have it on the list, but just briefly, because it was the original and first compliment.
Oh yes, of course.
Definition versus Tricky P. Because obviously they had a very intense battle.
Yeah, fiery.
At Well Dom 1 or Well Domination. I just
yeah.
And then to sort of, you know, light and the low the next year they arranged this. You know, it was ended up ground zero, wasn't it? Because it was outside or something else. But I thought it was so interesting, like watching it back today, because Definition sort of forgets that it's a compliments battle some of the time. And he just ends up going into Tricky P's mum for quite a bit of it. And that you can really tell that the mind is being sort of hived off from like, oh, I'm just meant to be insulting him. Oh, no, I'm not meant to be insulting him.
Yeah.
And one funny thing that they tend to do in King of the Dot for all of the compliments battles is introduce them, rather than saying rapper to my right and rapper to my left, they change it to complimenter to my right and complimenter to my left,
right.
Which I always felt was like a little bit unnecessary, because like it's still a rap battle, you know, like just because you're not, you know, like parring someone off doesn't mean it's in any way different. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's one thing I want to get across for this, is that I think that it can be focused on in exactly the same way.
Yeah, there's a Tricky P line in that. I do think Tricky P wins that, by the way. I think he's quite a bit better than Def. I love Def, obviously, but you know, not quite. But when he's basically Tricky saying, "There's not a guy in this scene nicer than me. You're going to leave this park with such high self-esteem that for the next 3 weeks you'll be able to fly in your dreams."
Like your dreams,
yeah.
Absolutely. Because but Def's got some nice stuff in that as well, though. Yeah. Like he does some like nice like one-off rhymes that I always think are sort of neglected in this sort of. He says like you've got such nice teeth. Was it your soulmate's Colgate? Which I always love that one.
John, as the kind of resident, compliments battle expert, muse on this. Could there ever be a URL compliments battle?
I literally was just thinking that, you know, and
I won't shoot you.
I will buy you a gun to shoot someone else. Yes, yeah. Do you know what? I do think there could be like only a couple of people I reckon would be up for it, because like it would be like someone who's been there and back and round again, like Ines, I reckon would be up for it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Ines Daylight maybe.
Like Ines Daylight, yeah. Because, you know, people who've done everything, like who've been to the top, been to the bottom, had adulation and enmity from crowds, you know what I mean, who don't really care about a rep in the same way that some people trying to make a serious name for themselves would be. You know, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it because they take it. It would be intense, and there would be no gay stuff whatsoever. Not that, you know, I mean, like I'm as open-minded as
of course,
anyone. You know what I mean? Like people's lives are people's lives, but I just think it's a crutch that, as you say, that could be avoided, and there would not be any gay stuff in there at all. And I think that a URL compliments battle would be just off the chain, to be honest with you.
It would be incredible. It would be absolutely incredible if it happened. But there's a reason why these leagues are great. It's because they're so distinct, and maybe certain concepts shouldn't transfer over. But King of the Dot.
If you're listening, Norbs,
yeah, he probably is. Shout out Norbs. Donate to the GoFundMe if you are listening to shout URL. But I mean, talking King of the Dot, like they did a lot of compliments battles. It seemed. They also had the Pat Stay Rome one. Twizy Wiseguy as well that you mentioned, like a lot of them.
Yeah, Twizy Wiseguy, I think that was their second one. That was at like a festival or something.
I knew he was dope from the start. Just study his wordplay, right? Know that he's smart. His dedication to hip-hop really shows in this art. Plus, he has the most impressive collection of Pokemon cards. Everyone you've battled, you killed all of them so casually. Just watch his other battles. He demolished all the whack MCs. Fans are like, damn, Twiz dominates the battle scene. His dad's like, son, you bring great honor to our family.
But there's some great stuff in the Twizy Wiseguy one. Like, was it like you got the highest marks in high school? The IQ of this guy is huge. He's the smartest guy in this entire room. His IQ would be the combined number of those 9 dudes, his entire crew times at least 2. And anyone who plays him at chess, he beats them in less than 5 moves. And on beats, he can freestyle in haikus. And it's just like, it's some really quality stuff. He promises to take him out for a picnic rather than have sex with him, which is always pleasant. But like again, it's another light-hearted battle, but one that's they're still quite focused on actually beating each other. And Twizzie does something very good, I think, that he sort of, when he's asked to introduce himself, he goes, "No, fuck that. It's not about me. It's about Wize Guy," and then introduces Wize Guy. It's like that's you're thinking about what you got to do, and that you're doing something slightly different, and you can approach it completely differently. And it's all about subverting the medium. And it's another good battle. Again, it's underviewed. One league that has really taken things on is the German league. Have you heard? Don't let the label you.
Yes.
Well, they have got about a dozen compliments battles.
Oh, right.
But obviously, being all in German, my appreciation of them is fairly limited.
Yeah.
But they've obviously seen it as something that is a crowd pleaser for them, and they've really run with it.
Yeah, that's intriguing. I'd love to get some translations to see what directions they gone in, because you can't imagine they'd be the same. Like, they couldn't be the same joke 12 times. You know what I mean? There must have been interesting variations.
Absolutely, completely. And them being Germans, they'd be ruthlessly efficient about being different.
I'm sure. I know the word Lieblings means favourite, so I think I would kind of like ascertain that from maybe the matches, but that's kind of 0% of that. And yeah, like you said, the Twiz battle is really fun. Talking about he's going in on Wize Guy and saying that his kid, and how he loves his kid when it comes to battling and parenting is the opposite of the Saurus. He's a skater. He wrote the manual on manuals.
Yeah, I love that line, that skateboard line. That's that's so hard.
Yeah. And then he says, like, because obviously these guys battled before, like Def and Tricky Pete, and he says that when he rewatches the battle, he skips his own verses. This is Wize Guy. It is another really fun one as well. And like you say, probably that freestyle haikus is line of the battle. Great line.
Yeah, and again, it's like the people. I always think potentially like people who've had really intense battles against each other would having rematches in the straight format, is difficult unless there's been real animosity between the battlers. That they've got fresh stuff to go over. But having compliments rematches, I just think gives you an added scope for putting people up against each other again, and opens up a lot of potential for battles to go on again. Do you know what I mean? That people like stuff, like real classics. You know what I mean? Like
Arsenal Shotty.
Yeah. Yes. Just imagine that. That would be intense.
Yeah.
The final battle that they ever do, should just be a compliments battle. Yeah. But or like the numerous people that O'Shea or Pamphlet has battled in normal formats. I know Pamphlet, has done a compliments battle against Toucan before, but him and Blizzard, because him and Blizzard was very intense.
Blizzard was pretty nasty in that battle, yeah.
He was. So it's a chance to take it all back, and make amends for the horrible things you said, But yeah, I really think that research has got to come into it, because it's not been used at all, in compliments format. Do you know what I mean? It literally is just sort of.
So how does that work?
You just find the same way that you'd find out people who've done shady or disreputable stuff. Mm-hmm. In their lives, people go on Facebook, see what people have said, what people have done. I'm thinking now like Heretic versus Bizzo, when he mocks him for being part of the Preston grime scene 2000 and what 2000 and
Yeah.
They should go and actually compliment his fucking hard work in that grime scene for like keeping the Preston grime scene alive.
Holy shit, Crafty, is that you? And if we talk domestic audiences don't flop, and you say to them compliments battles, they're pretty much going to point to Shuffle, Marlo, Big J Lefty, right?
I want to make a spectacle of Inspector Cool, but you should expect a call from Specsave, especially requesting your presence for selling all many sorts of special order spectacles. Because your specs are cool. And he doesn't simply mean the shit you see with, he means your every physical aspect and all. Not only are those trend-setting specs, Lefty, but believe that we've been checking out your pecs, Lefty. You've been hardening the structure of your chest, Lefty. Doing 27 reps in every set, Lefty. What comes next, Lefty? Working on your legs, Lefty. Take it from us. You are looking at your very best, Lefty.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. Amazing. Marlo and Triple T in this are incredible. They are incredibly good.
Yeah. Oh, beyond incredible, and when you add to that the fact that was the same day as the Bad Bars battle,
Mad.
the same event,
probably like the same like span of hours, like 2 hours apart or something.
Yeah. And the intensity of preparation and thought and this is what I love about that battle, is that Lefty and Big J are very fresh and very creative with it. Big J sort of subverting his style, the old balaclava on in your face, I'll do nice things for your gran, that's lovely. Mm-hmm. And Lefty just being very very irreverent and very Lefty, Shuffle T is such a G's Easter egg was luxury. To open stuff up is just a brilliant line. But as you say, Shuffle T and Marlo in their faces intensely, working the performance of it, because this is the thing about compliments, it's probably got to be sold with more integrity than regular bars.
Yeah.
Because people sort of will get excited about regular bars, but you've really got to sell those compliments, and they've got to be the writing has got to be right up there. And this is obviously, you know, Shuffle and Marlo when they were at their most productive, almost, and most focused on being creative. And yeah, it's a watershed moment, and I almost think it wasn't capitalized on.
Yeah. The hot furnace, unbelievable. Like, they had battle before, but this was, as you say, the watershed moment. This and Bad Bars, for Shuffle and Marlo. I think that, you know, they were different after this. It's like they were legends almost, mini, on a sense. Like, I remember Bad Bars especially was just, you know, such a meta slap in the face. It was mad, but I'm sure we'll have to talk about that some other time. But yeah, they are just electric on this one, and I love. I think Marlo is especially good in this. Marlo is very. I mean, it's not that one's better than the other, but like, you know, I love lots of Marlo stuff in here. No homo, but if you and I accidentally cross swords in a hot orge,
cross swords in a orge. Yeah, cross swords in a hot orge. There's like.
Yeah.
Cocked pork, I think, is another. Another.
Got more than we stopped for. I would not want more.
Not to want more. Pause. Double negative. Yeah. But then that is just like a sort of false flag for then Shuffle coming in with like pretty much the gayest thing you could possibly say. You know, like He wants to feel Jay's sperm on his face. You know what I mean? You know, that is just. It's glorious, and then pull it back. Then Marlo going, "Don't make me a part of that," and it's wonderful how they you know, like they appreciate the push and pull of that of being a two, of being a pair, and how you can control the crowd. Because, and I just love hearing Er's voice when he says that. Go shout, he went there, and it's one of the best things in battle rap, just hearing that off camera, you know. And it's it's one of the greatest moments in Don't Flop, really, to be honest.
Wow. Yeah. No, there's many Shuffle and Marlo performances that I treasure, and this is definitely up there. This is absolutely terrific by them, and you know, it's just the quality of writing at being funneled through the cast of compliments battles. We hadn't really had that before, you know what I mean? Two people who really just lived that concept. They really, really did it well. You know, probably the best maybe it's ever done. I think Rowan Pat Stay's very good. I think this is probably better.
Yeah, it's much, much better. And that's kind of one of the reasons I didn't really want to, you know, talk about Rowan Pat Stay is that I don't think it sort of lived up to the expectations of fans or the battlers themselves. I don't think that there's not any especially brilliant writing in there from you know, like two guys who have got a lot better in them than what they produced on those days. You know, and even that they're 2-on-2 with compliments with Shuffle and Marlo again. You know. I just think people don't. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't approach it in exactly the same way you would a regular battle, you know, and try and find interesting angles. You know what I mean? Because this is the key thing. It's like people who are good at finding angles on other individuals. You know what I mean? They're the people that should be sort of engaging in compliments battles and like expanding the form. Because if you can find something shit to say about someone, you can find something great to say about someone, and then it's all about how you phrase it and set it up. Mm-hmm. You know. And,
so okay, let's say your compliment battle against Marlo for some reason, Sherpa versus Marlo, and you find out that somehow through Facebook, Marlo as a 14-year-old like saved some kids in some boat or some news story that no one knows about. You use that angle how?
How do you? Well, you just play up the fact that they're a hero and how he and how he sacrificed, how he was willing to sacrifice his life to save the lives of others. And you know what I mean, you can like grandstand that, turn him into a superhero. Okay. But if I was compliments battling Marlo, one thing I would say, like when I met Theo for the first time, I introduced myself to him. Hi, my name's John. Blah, blah, blah. And then for the rest of the weekend, because it was like the birthday weekend, like a couple of years ago, every time he met me, he used my name, shook my hand, and I was like, because your name, like someone's name is using someone's name is the greatest gift you can give to him. That man is incredibly well brought up, and like I would absolutely use that as an angle. The fact that he remembered my name and used it every time we spoke. Yeah. That you can't. It's just one of these things, because obviously battlers have a lot of interaction with each other most of the time, and they'll know people's qualities, both good and bad. So it's those interactions that they have with each other. You can easily manipulate them into high quality compliments battles. Because people are friends. For the most part, within the scene. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially if they're in the same league. You know what I mean? Like they, they'll have got on. They'll have had been out drinking with each other or whatever. And so there's so much scope.
And there are certain disciplines within battling. Some people are known for their incredible pen game. Some people like Pedro are kind of and Charlie Clips are ostensibly known as freestylers for the most part. Could you foresee a future, John, where there's just a compliment battler and he just does compliment battles? That would be interesting. Have I just blown your mind?
I hope someone would be brave enough to label themselves that.
What a nice man or woman.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, rhyme nice twice a night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. There's someone's nice with the rhymes and they're nice with the rhymes. You know what I mean?
And like for them, a one-off battle is them being an arsehole and like calling people a cunt.
That's exactly it. You know what I mean? Like, and then they just do backhanded compliments. They do sarky compliments, wouldn't they? And exactly, there's so much room for this form to be played with. A compliments only battler, that would be brilliant. That would have to. In some ways, like some people sort of are already. Do you know what I mean? Like Harry Baker often, because like Harry's is a lovely guy, and he doesn't want to go into certain areas with people. You know what I mean? He sometimes his battles feel like he's like just assessing someone. Not necessarily in a crude and negative light, but he's just sort of pointing out where they could improve.
There's little judgment, actually, yeah.
He's not vindictive at all. You know what I mean? Like Harry Baker doesn't want to change your life. Like Harry Baker wants to just make you think, like more deeply about yourself.
With a few goofy puns attached.
Well, exactly.
That's what it's all about.
But yeah, it's as I say, mate, it's one of these things that I think is underused, and I sort of get why some fans don't like them. That they want the intensity of people going up against each other. But as I said, I think that's mainly down to how many compliments battles have been approached by the battlers themselves, rather than the form itself.
Is there a am I imagining this? I hope not. Isn't Shocks the Rebel supposed to battle Harry Baker in some sort of compliments thing?
I don't know if that's confirmed.
Right.
I imagine that would be like an April Fool's thing.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But that would be borderline incredible. Do you know what I mean? Like someone like, as I love Shocks. I rate Shocks so high.
Oh my God, who doesn't?
Really. But like, exactly. But like, most of his bars are about killing you in some way.
Yeah, or stomping on you.
Yeah, exactly. Like the threat of violence is high. You know what I mean? Like, and just to have him, and because this is the thing, he is one of the nicest men. Like helpful, thoughtful people. In battle rap, and to see, and I know that he's got a lot to like, a lot. It would be amazing. It would be beyond incredible. You know, just as I say, it's great to see people, another side of people, you know, that you're normally used to seeing, like them trying to pick apart their opponent rather than look for the best in them. You know, and I guess that's maybe why I am such a big fan of compliments battles. Is because I always like to see the best in people. You know, be it like what they're good at, or the nice things that they do, or the kindness that they sort of share, or helpfulness. You know what I mean? That is shared. You know what I mean? Like very often in battle rap. You know, I just think that it's a great thing to do, because it sort of celebrates the scene in and of itself. You know, that it's not that, you know, that it celebrates the friendships that exist within battling, and the friendships that, you know, develop because you like battling, and because and because, you know, like you know, let's face it, battle rap events take a long time, most of which is not spent watching battles. Most of it is spent hanging around with people, having a chat, making friends, getting to know each other, and it's sort of an extension of that. And I'd like to see, you know, that's what I'd like to see embraced more.
I concur, and I guess finally I want to ask, you know, you battle yourself, you're battling a next in line. I'm pretty sure this episode will come out before that event happens, but it's very, very cool. Is there any kind of, you know, compliment battles in your eye line? Do you want to do one in the future?
You know what, there is, but I'd be remiss to say anything about it right now.
Right.
But there is. And it probably would surprise you if I told you who it's with. But as I say, I won't say anything because it's not confirmed. But it was mooted to me by this gentleman.
Okay.
When I actually showed him my rounds for Cashmore, he said he'd be up for doing a humour-based or compliments-based battle with me. And so, but like, you know, as I say, I'll just plonk that out there. But as I say, it'd be remiss of me to sort of go naming names at the moment.
Of course. Oh, listener of the future, how you know who that was? but yeah, John, this has been a pleasure, man. I guess to wrap up, if you were to kind of sell a compliments battle to a hardened battle fan, what is your strategy?
What is my strategy? Well, you know, like, variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. Man cannot live by bread alone, and man cannot live by pearls alone. You know, like that. You like. It's sort of like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
If you eat like the same food every day, your palate becomes tired and unresponsive. So use compliments battles as a palate cleanser to then be able to go back to battles, and perhaps back to straight battles, and like engage with them with a renewed vigor. Because that's how I use them. Certainly, you know, is just use them to like freshen up the mind a bit, like, and then go back to regular battles. Because obviously they'll never become as popular just because it's slightly easier to insult someone. For some reason, it engages the human mind more. We're fucked as a species. But anyway, but yeah, it's but like, yeah, use it as a palate cleanser so you can like then go back to regular battles with a renewed appreciation.
Yeah, no, I mean, I myself personally, if anyone else is going to take this from the show, I'm definitely going to view compliments battles, you know, with more glee, with more excitement. You've helped me appreciate the depth of the genre, and it is really exciting, and it does have this odd power for good in a way, isn't it?
Yes, we can change the world, and we can all become closer and more in tune with each other's.
If everyone compliment each other, John, it's over. World peace happens. I think.
Well, exactly. You know, people would stop arguing about, you know, like, you know, Europe and the future of, you know, and just sort of get along a bit more. But you can still then go and watch some really nasty mum jokes afterwards.
Yep.
If you drift back to like 2009.
Yep. Shout out Eddie P in Frisco. But John, it's been a pleasure as ever. How do people get at you social media wise? Your writing, that sort of stuff.
Oh, well, yes. Like they can find me writing for the Circle Pit, and they can find me writing, I say Pit Format is nearly up and going, but that's hopefully by the time this comes out, pitformat.com.
Right.
We've got the website and hopefully be starting that soon. So, yeah, shout out that.
And that is your battle website?
Yeah, and they can see me battling Pete Cashmore at the next In Line event.
Yes, pay-per-view.
My Don't Flop.
If you're listening after the event, but yeah, can't wait to see that, man. And John, as ever, thanks so much, man.
No, it's a pleasure, Tom. Thank you very much.